expert in immigration issues. She specialized in critical cases. So, and I would say I cannot testify that because I'm one of her, client. So later you'll see how she can share her the process and the process in immigration and Q&A uh Q&A is there if there are any question and you wanted to ask from her about immigration, she would gladly she would love to share it to you. So that's
Again, so
all.
again, welcome to
Come.
our webinar guide to becoming a registered nurse in New Zealand and some immigration advice on visa application, what visa you should take, and what's going on here in New Zealand, of course. So, um, Attorney Elsa, you're just there, you're muted. So we'll call you on shortly. Um, so yes, we would love to hear from you guys. Charlie, let us know where you are joining right now. Hopefully your internet is great. And because sometimes technology fail, right? We would love to hear where you are from watching right now. So we have Evelyn from Dubai. Charlie, where are you from? We would really love you to engage as well. And also, we would love to hear what stage are you in now in your journey? Are you really just curious, still planning? Have you started your CGFNS or have your ano kang level ngayon kung saan ka? We have Charlie in New Zealand already, so that's really, really great. So I am gonna share my screen. Okay, so this is recorded, okay, for so that you can watch it again, and for those who haven't joined, and they can also watch it later para mas maraming ma-inform because definitely today will be a very valuable discussion talking about what's the pathway now, especially there are changes. So just a bit of backstory. Lisa, I just want you to share about our background in how we started here, Nursing Success Academy, and why we do what we do. Can I just hear from you, Lisa?
Yes, thank you, Miss Christine. Yes, how did we started? It all started when we are, nurses advocates, and we saw the need to assist the nurses, and also the opportunity what we can offer to nurses. It all started, in 2021, during COVID, and I started to become an advocate to the point of creating your recruitment to supply to nurses to the HBs until to the point when I know that CAP course is going to be to stop and the new regulations is coming. So we started Nurses Academy. It's a lot of brainstorming, and it's really a good story about this because I have to court Miss Christine about that, and finally she said yes because of the opportunity and also the passion to help the nurses. And we there Nurses Academy was born month of April. So we're 9 months now and doing good and going stronger. And now we are here doing webinar, assisting the nurses. It's not about like we give the opportunity. This is not only for New Zealand, and there's a lot to explore, especially in Australia. And we're brewing something for you nurses, and you will love the result later on. So that's it. It's really a quick overview about how we started. It's all about advocating the nurses, and we would love to help more and give a real life for the nurses. So that's all.
Thank you, Lisa. And of course, as you may know, there are a lot of challenges right now, and we are very open to this information and conversation right now that it's been challenging for nurses. You probably have seen the news, a lot of fears coming out there that nurses are not getting jobs. And we really believe this is a pattern in the last, again, I'm here for the last 15 years already. And this is last COVID, it was easier, now it's harder. It's just, it's changing all the time. And that's why we just want to still continue educating people. Again, migration is not overnight. You have to plan it quite well. Maybe a year, 2 years, 5-year plan, you're planning your future. So, and that's why we still do this webinar to educate you more. And of course, again, there are so many changes in New Zealand. We are so affected with how the government changes, policy changes. There's a lot, and we don't want to over false promise anything. We really want to give you value right now to be for you to make that decision for yourself and your future. So I'm just gonna quickly share my screen here. A bit of introduction. Thank you, Lisa, for that. We say kia ora or welcome. That's how we say in New Zealand, kia ora. Or welcome, shalom, wherever you're coming from. I can see we have different attendees from
Mabuhay.
different part of the world right now. And of course, I would love you to me a little bit of mute your if especially if you have a noisy background there, but you can unmute yourself later if you want to ask questions and share as well. And again, our Nurses Success Academy, founded by Lisa and I, she has been so encouraging about this because as she said, it's a passion. But what we really want to do is to share our lived experience in the last 15 years to the nurses because we know how hard it is to come here. You will have a lot of challenges, definitely. So our mission, of course, in Nurses Success Academy is we want to empower you with the knowledge, the skills, the confidence to excel in your career and in life, not just career, but life in New Zealand. We understand the challenges of relocating and working in a new country, and our program is designed to make you this transition as smooth as possible. And if we don't want to go deeply to our experiences, especially Lisa, she had a tough one, but she's still here. And she's still actually more grateful than ever, right, Lisa, for what you and attorney Elsa, who helped her so much in her journey. And that's why we also wanted to invite her really in
Share
this.
the story later on, Miss Grace.
Yeah.
I'll share the story later on, and it's really beautiful. So you will see, it will inspire you a lot after you
Yes.
will.
That's good. And of course, guys, aside from being advocate in the in for nurses, we're also very active in our Filipino community in New Zealand for migrants. So our relationship, if you join, whatever you if you from today to if you join the journey with us, join the Nurses Success Academy, then our journey will not end by you getting your registration. It's really the whole journey of coming to New Zealand as an immigrant, okay? And that's our mission. Way more than that. When you get your job, you can buy your house, you can settle. So there's a lot. And for me personally, I've always been an advocate for nurses in different ways, especially during COVID, because at that time it was so hard, so difficult. And to be honest, I really believe that being a nurse is such a great opportunity. It will open a lot of doors of opportunities for us career-wise. So very grateful to be a nurse, and that's why I have this also Pinoy nurses abroad. And just a bit of journey. My first day in New Zealand, this was 2009, and it's a long time. Now you can see I'm still young there. And this is Auckland Airport. Welcome to Auckland. Of course, you will have this photo in the future if you're here, if you're not here yet in New Zealand. So it's been a long time, 15 years. And just to go back to it. I'm sharing this because I know you will go through challenges in your journey. So I'm just gonna go through a little bit of mine first. I took the board exam way back in the Philippines. I'm originally from the Philippines. The board exam twice because of some issues. I work as a volunteer nurse. If you remember, if you're a Filipino nurse, you know how much we get paid in the Philippines, $300 per month with so many patients. So I'm so blessed to be here. I failed in their English test twice, and I know this is a big challenge for many. Like some took 5 times, 10 times, but at the end of the day, it's still worth it. And also had problems with my medical exam, and I really thought at that time New Zealand was not for me. But then I overcome that, and also We did not have money. Money is a big thing because migration is like an investment that you have to have money, right? To process your papers, to pay for the fees. There's a lot of, but then we did not have it. But for some reason, I found a way. I remembered going to the bank with my dad trying to loan money. I really still remember it vividly in my mind. And of course, at that time, um, I was lucky enough to have a sponsorship from my employer in New Zealand. This was 2009. And again, from 2009, it was easier. In 2000, it was harder. There's no sponsor for many years. And then during COVID, there was sponsorship again. If you remember, CAP was reimbursed by the government. So it's changing all the time, right? So that's why, again, we're here. So if you're why I'm sharing this, because again, if you go through this, please remember what I'm sharing to you right now. That don't give up, okay? Even if whatever it takes. So, but here's my rewards now. Um, After being here in New Zealand for 15 years, you can buy your own car, dream wedding, dream travel, a lot of beautiful experiences, really. And buy your own house, you can migrate fully and settle. So, and that's why I say it's all worth all my sacrifices and all the investment. We're investing for our future here. And yes, skydiving, this is the place where you can enjoy so much outdoor. Um, when you get your passport, you can travel to Europe without applying for visa. So last year I went to Europe and I was just so like, my gosh, so blessed, right? So just sharing this, not to brag, guys, but really just to inspire you what's possible. And of course, I managed to marry a Kiwi. So if you're single, then that's great. You have that chance as well. So yes, but then I get a lot of messages all the time, okay? Because we're very active in our community. I get this, hey, Mom Christine, I've read your post about nursing because I always am encouraging nurses, right? Thank you for inspiring people like me. There's a lot of nurses who wants to go to New Zealand, but there's a lot of requirements. And these requirements will kill your dreams if you let it. Okay? So I really want you to focus because most people say it's too hard, you know, and you will stop. And hopefully you won't because you watched this webinar today recorded. Because there are a lot of requirements. But I want to remind you that when you studied nursing, you passed a lot of requirements and board exam and all that. So I really hope that as soon as we share to you all the requirements and the process, it won't turn you off. You know exactly what's your goal in the next 2 years, 1 year, 2 years. Okay. So I really want to share this. It's not about your resources right now. Right now, maybe you will say, I don't have money. I don't have, I'm not good in English. There will be so many things, but it's not about what's your resources right now. It's about your resourcefulness because there's always a way. If you hear Lisa, my story, nothing compared to Lisa's one, but she found a way. And that's why, aside from educating you, we also really want to encourage you to find a way, whatever it takes. Okay, so I wrote this book in the 2016. Should you choose New Zealand? Why or why not? I actually read a few books. I've always been active about nurses, guiding them because I truly believe that um, you know, nursing career can open so many doors of opportunities for us. But so I just want to share this clip about this is one of the website, hundreds of experienced international nurses job list amidst nursing shortage. And this was May 2024, and there's still a lot of issues right now. But to be honest, it's not, there are still shortage of nurses. There are shortage of nurses. But then there's just this contradicting why we're not hiring. There's a lot of issues out there. So it's not true that there's no jobs. There are jobs available. It's just, are you competitive enough? People are still getting jobs, but you have to be competent, confident, and equip yourself and be ready. Because if you look at this, this is during COVID. The world could be short of 13 million nurses in 2030, and we're not far from that. That's like 5 years from now. There are shortage of nurses, and our mission, aside from you passing the exam and OSCEs and migrating, is to keep more nurses in the world, because lack of nurses really means poor patients outcome and means death of a lot of patients who needs us. So I really hope that you know your role in this world, not just where you are, but you know um we have a big mission in the world as nurses, okay? So please don't give up your career. Or if you are kind of on the verge of giving up, there are options for you there if you're burnt out. So just a quick one, why New Zealand registered nurse in New Zealand are now getting paid 60K. These are new grads, 136,000. So depending on your experience, of course. So it's not a bad paying job. Like anywhere in the world, nurses are always striking and rallying. We actually had 2 strikes this year, this month actually, about pay of nurses. Anywhere in the US, UK, nurses will always feel underpaid, especially nurses in the Philippines, probably India, Nepal. So New Zealand is in a way, we're on average pay scale, okay? And if I convert that, it's around 2 million pesos per year in the Philippines. So you can convert that in your own currency. So it's not bad. Plus, it's not just that. There's so many benefits in New Zealand. Why choose New Zealand? Life here, New Zealanders believe that life is for living. It's about balancing a good day's work with time for family and friends. And for me, I really feel it's true. So I shared, right, that I visited US, Europe last year, and it made me more grateful that I'm in New Zealand. I even talked to my friends who work in UK and in the US, and they feel like, yeah, why do you need New Zealand is not the highest paying country, but even if we don't get paid as much as they get paid in the US, we get to enjoy the lifestyle. So the question is, why do you need more money? It's because you want the lifestyle, right? And that's why it's smart to choose New Zealand if you really want the lifestyle, okay? And population, this is 2002, it's only 2022, it's only 5 million. So we have more space here. And there's a lot of good things. A balanced life is family friendly, secure and beautiful. If you're already here, you know that. And it's clean and beautiful. And it's always rated as top 10 best livable country in the world. And I love the Kiwis. They really welcome you really well. So again, these are my rewards, and that's why I'm here, because I feel blessed, and I want you to enjoy as well the blessings of New Zealand in the future. So next is, of course, what's the first step? Like, that's our webinar. It's a long introduction, but I think it's necessary for you, to give you more hope, to give you more courage to continue. So starts with the nursing council, and Liesel will be talking about that right now. Hi, Liesel. So you'll be sharing your screen, right?
Hello, hello. I'll start with CJFNS process because this is the way to becoming an registered nurse before registering to nursing council. I'm going to share my slide. Just hold on. Look, this is I always inform people this is only a supplementary or guide, so you can always go to your to website to verify this this application process. Normally they change. So what I'm going to deliver right now is only the guide, so that you don't get lost when you apply for, registration to New Zealand as a nurse. So today I will be discussing about guide to becoming a registered nurse in New Zealand. And after me, our special guest, Attorney Elsel, will discuss about immigration. She has an expert experience in complex cases about on visa application or any other general immigration issues. And I will share to you the story behind why I wanted her to be here to help you, most of, struggling with their immigration issues. So, how to be a New Zealand registered nurse. So, today is 20th of December. So this is to navigate. Again, this is supplemental information. This is not actually the official. You can always get, but I got it in the official website from CGFNS. So guides on navigating the registration process, including the requirements of New Zealand Nursing Council for international qualified nurses under new regulation. Okay, our agenda. So, disclaimer, we don't advise, we don't actually invite the nurses here to come to New Zealand. Of course, this is only it's always the choice of nurses because being a registered nurse is the easiest way to be a registered nurse if you're planning to go to Australia. So, and as you all know, we are currently in, New Zealand is under, you know, um, hiring freeze. It's not actually freeze. So we just control due to budget cut of the government. So yeah, we'll be discussing the introduction, qualification process, and also the summary. So this So I would like to introduce myself. I'm Lazel Laos Delihero. I'm also a registered nurse, also a managing director of our Vision Healthcare Limited. So this is what I was discussing, that I'm also a recruiter and supplies nurses to DHB due to change of the government. So the agreement has been stopped, but that doesn't stop me from helping the nurses. So I opted to assist nurses getting their CAP placement to different school, in restructured it to something useful. And also, I'm also a managing director of Nurses Success Academy. Pilot launch exactly 27th of March 2023. So, 2024, that is 2024. So, I'm also a New Zealand nurse advocate. This is I aim to help and deliver high caliber nurses in New Zealand safely. So, I'm a former OFW nurse specialist in Middle East, and I work in a Ministry of Defense and Aviation as a renal transplant nurse. So these are my specialization: renal ward, acute and chronic dialysis. So these are my specialization: plasma paresis, ICU, and peritoneal dialysis. So I know about nurses. So I'm a former New Zealand Career Force assessor. So I'm good at assessing nurses as well. So I'm also a quality check assessor and also a support worker coach. So I was how to become a registered nurse. If you are currently a registered nurse overseas, the step one you have to do is to create a CGFNS account for New Zealand. Uh, there are two registration, so don't get it wrong. One is the CGFNS in United States. So you have to choose New Zealand. So you register in New Zealand account. There are a lot of mistake the nurses does because they don't look. They just register without looking where they are registering at. But don't fret. You can always ask. You can always contact or email the CGFNS to change it to to New Zealand. So verify documents with CGNS after registering. All the nurses are required to provide documents proving their number one, identity, your current registrations held in the last 10 years, nursing qualification equivalent to New Zealand qualifications, evidence of English language proficiency, and you have to have 1,000 800 hours post-registration nursing experience or 1 year. So you have to count it. How to count it is like if you have to check your contract. If you are in your contract, you have 40 hours per week. You have to multiply it 4 times 7 or your working days. Then multiply it to 12 months. So that must be the result, total number of hours. If you have any question, you can always contact me how to compute the your hours before registering to CGFNS. So for the nurses who starting, to process with less experience and who wanted to become a registered nurse, so they accept 1,800 hours post register. This is under new regulation guidelines from Nursing Council. So this is your nursing experience, okay? So you must verify and authenticate your documents first with CGFNS before applying to Nursing Council to register. So your English exam before OET, it has to be 350 across the band. But right now, and also the IELTS is 7 across the band. But right now, they change it. Writing in OET is 300, and in IELTS the writing is 6.5. So there is the changes because mostly the nurses are having hard time meeting these requirements, these numbers. So the nursing council have agreed to adjust it a little bit. So the step by step process for IQNs like us here in New Zealand, if you are currently here in New Zealand and your license is inactive, your license you acquired before coming here as an IQN. So and you become a New Zealand citizen, you have first one before you register with CGFNS. Your license must be active. If you are a New Zealand citizen, you have to have a dual citizen because PRC requires requires you to be you still be a Filipino citizen. So that's what I got it from PRC, and you can that's the time you can activate your license. So then for license verification will be required for the licenses you have held in the last 10 years only for the IQN here in New Zealand I'm talking about. So the requirements to prove your licensure in your home country or other jurisdiction based on operational changes in verification required documents for CVS New Zealand. So yeah. So if step by step process, if you are coming from UK, Ireland, Canada, USA, except Australia due to reciprocity, this is the language has been waived. Then you can proceed to process your CGFNS. And for IQN, of course, your employment history, applicants are now asked to provide self-declaration. You don't need to go back to your old employer, maybe they were dead or something, they have retired. You can no longer run after them signing these documents. Now, you are allowed to, to provide self-declaration like what I did. I also have processed my CGFNS, and I have to provide a self-declaration. Oh yes, I have worked this such and such years and in such hospital. So 1 year or 1,800 hours in the last 10 years. So it's still the current requirement. Only employment in the last 10 years will be required, regardless of recency. So if you have 10 years of experience previously, and you have already 10 years cap, and you have at least 1,800 hours experience in the past 10 years, you're still qualified. However, I just want to verify this because there are case to case basis. Some of the in the nursing council, some they accept, some not. This is what I have observed. Um, so if you want to verify, you have to call the nursing council. But this is the standard process, because I normally talk to nurses with regards to their requirements, so I know. Oh, it's a case-to-case basis. So qualifications evidence is to be provided by your institution or by yourself if working in New Zealand as healthcare assistants, support worker, or caregivers. So it is important to obtain evidence of support from your employers, and they have to have a letter of support, stating that you have um, they have attested that you are confident in medication prompting, that you work with the healthcare professionals like doctors and nurses, and that you coordinated their appointment. So it is really important that your employer, you have to instruct them what to write. And if you have any problems, you can go back or email me, and I can help you how to to construct a letter about that. So I would like to share to you something about, um I have this nurse from Singapore. Actually, the nursing council does not accept ambulance nurse. However, this is really a special case in my experience, because I help this person. No one would ever help him strategically, because I know for a fact, I'm confident that this nurse would be able to grant the letter from the nursing council as long as he has to follow my instruction. What happened now with the case in the Singapore, he only have this basic roles and responsibilities, and I have to ask him, do you do that? Because you have to put in mind that ambulance nurse is a mobile ICU. Okay, it's a mobile ICU. What's in there? What's in the ICU? So we coordinated, we added some in the roles and responsibility. And I told him, go back to your medical director and ask him to sign that you did that, because it's a special skills that the nurses has to have. Once, if you're ambulance nurse, I know for a fact, I once also an ambulance nurse, and as a renal transplant, only special nurses can transport patients, by ambulance. So the medical doctor luckily signed off the roles and responsibility, and he submitted this to the nursing council. And mind you, what's the result? Um, he got the letter, cup letter, because he completed the requirements 4th of December last year, and he was really happy. He reported to me that he completed his cup because I have helped him, because he knows for a fact it's impossible. But with my help, with Nurses Success Academy's help, it's really possible. Yes, of course, it's a case-to-case basis. I'm not telling you all of you will be granted this special letter. Um, Only I know it, how to process it. Just reach out to me and I will help you if in case you're having trouble with that. So you have registered to CGFNS, then you have to go to their website, fill out personal profile. It's an online profile, and it's only valid for 1 year. You have to pay 300 or 493 New Zealand dollars. Download the forms. They have the forms. You have to download it from your school licenses, employment, and must be filled out and sent to CGFN. So you have to ensure your name is correct before paying it, because it will, the stress when when you realize later your name is wrong, and it takes a lot of effort again and a lot of, process to have it corrected. So ensure before you submit and correct it out, like how many times to ensure that your name is right. Then for Saudi Council, you have to go to Saudi Council, SCHS verification, and it's now being done online. So they call it Tawasul. I did not do that one. So now it's a Tawasul. Hang on. So for education, I just want to discuss this. For education and professional registration, you have to sign the form. You are provided this form for school. You have to send it to school, but ensure you have filled out something there and you sign up. Sign the form, attach authorization letter with ID from your family who's going to process your documents. If you know someone that can do it in behalf of you, you have to provide the authorization letter. Then send it to your country of registration or where you gained your qualification. Then pay the verification and courier. It depends in your own country the amount of courier you're paying. So and ensure, by the way, ensure that the address, not your address in not the address your personal address in your own country. It should be from the address from your school. Like they are the sender, so it has to be the school must be the sender, not you or your representative. So there's a lot of misinformation about that. There are a lot of errors around that. You have to ensure, always think about that, this parcel coming from school, not coming from you, even if you are the one who's processing it in behalf of someone else. So employers. So if you're working from your previous employer or currently, they have to sign the forms. Yeah. It can be before, it can be HR or nursing admins only. But right now, forms can be filled out by senior nurses, supervisor, head nurse, or assistant head nurse. So for me, I only ask for my senior nurses, because they are always my chief nurse are always out. And it's easy because your colleague knows you how you work. So and they're always there. Now, then step two, then once you have everything verified, you have already submitted your English requirements. If you're asking me which one, the IELTS or the OET, it depends on you, but the OET, there is a special course for nurses. Already what they are discussing more on nursing side, but for IELTS, it's a general, English test. So it's up to you. But if I would be if I would, for my choice, it's OET. So if you have everything, you have to proceed. Then we can proceed step two. Then apply to become a registered nurse. So once you have submitted it, then CGFNS will submit it to nursing council. Then now nursing council will send you an email. Then they will send you a link to register and create your IQ and nursing council IQ and account. So after they have verified. So now you will be receiving a welcome pack from New Zealand Nursing Council, and all the nurses must complete the 2 free online courses introducing you to the culturally safe nursing practice in New Zealand. So this is a mandatory you have to complete because you have to study our culture, New Zealand culture, when it comes to healthcare approach. Then after that, you have to apply for fitness to practice check. All nurses are required to undergo a criminal history check to the country where you work. Okay. Then If you applied, you have completed your CGFNS before 4th of December 2023, you still be receiving cap letter. I believe right now they already stopped it. On then if you applied after 4th of December 2023, you're now under the new guidelines, which is you'll be taking the theoretical and OSCE. So all forms have received by CGFNS. So they have this is a standard number and standard process upon applying for CGFNS. You've got 30 days to generate they got 30 days to generate report, then 30 days to approve or reject the report. If they see you are not qualified, they will, you will receive the letter instruction. Or if they think you have the chance, they will give you the chance to provide the necessary documents to prove that you know you are capable to deliver a excellent nursing care. Then once approved, CGFNS report will be sent through to Nursing Council. You receive an invitation to register to IQN. With 30 business days, documents will be reviewed. After 20 days to few months, a case manager will be assigned to assess the final stage of IQN process. And 45 days to 7 months, this is the latest, what I have heard. 7 months maximum 7 months maximum before the release of exam invitation letter. Then credentials have been verified, you will receive an endorsement letter. It could endorsement letter means your permit to proceed to the next step. So that's all. This is an old process under cap course. So now I will proceed. Hang on, I will stop my my slide. I will proceed to the new guidelines. Hang on. Give me a second.
There are questions. Keep typing your questions, and then we'll answer it all for the benefit of everyone to hear as well, just in case you have the same one. Questions. So again, guys, while Lisa is looking for it, these changes are actually really great for those nurses, especially nurses registered nurses from the Philippines who came here in New Zealand with the HCA pathway, support worker, and before infection control and different pathways. So the new requirements are really great for the nurses, and giving a lot of nurses a chance to now register, and we can see more and more, which is amazing because we know there's thousands of registered nurse back home but unable to practice as an RN in New Zealand. So I guess few of us are here. Here you go.
Yeah.
You have that.
Yeah,
This
here
is
we
the
go.
latest
I
one.
found it. Yeah, this is the latest one under new guidelines. So I just want you to watch this. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear the sounds or not, or we'll discuss it,
I think we can hear.
Our channel. In this video, we are going to see what new updates New Zealand Nursing Council has released for international
You can open it.
qualified nurse in 2024.
Make it
An
bigger.
internationally qualified nurse has to register in New Zealand.
Something's going on. Hang on. Sorry about that. There are glitches.
Probably expand it because it's not fully opened.
It's not fully open.
So try to share it again, and then we can hear the sound. It's good.
Hang on.
So Hardeep, this is a different webinar from the 18th. The 18th, we had a webinar specifically OSCE preparation, but today is more on the whole process from the beginning to really from CGFNS, Nursing Council, before you can get your schedule for theoretical exam. So yeah, you are in the right place if you are still on the process so we will talk about how you can book your OSCE.
In this video, we are going to see what new updates New Zealand Nursing Council has released for internationally qualified nurse in 2024. An
Lisa,
internationally
you're not sharing screen.
registered New Zealand Nursing Council
hang on.
before they start to work
Sorry about
as a
that.
registered nurse. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to candidate has to pass a competent assessment examination. This new competence.
Oh,
So just share your screen again.
yeah. I found a way.
Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to see what new updates New Zealand Nursing Council.
Oh, good. Technology. Yeah, just share first and then play. Share your screen first. Try it. So this is the new pathway now. And the great news is actually way cheaper than CAP. And yeah, so it's actually a good news, but just you have to prepare more. You are muted. I'll just ask you to unmute. Lisa, you're muted.
Okay.
Has released for international. Welcome to our channel. In this.
Ready now?
Yeah, just make it, just expand it and then play. Yeah.
Okay.
We are going to see what new updates New Zealand Nursing Council has released for internationally qualified nurse in 2024. An internationally qualified nurse has to register in New Zealand Nursing Council as a registered nurse in New Zealand. Registering, the candidate has to pass a competent assessment examination. This new competence assessment test
sorry, you lost the screen.
Is online.
How about this one?
What new updates New Zealand Nursing Council has released for internationally qualified nurse in 2024. EE are delivered by the Nurse Mod simulation.
Hang on. Sorry. I have to
work as a registered nurse in New Zealand. Before registering, the candidate has to pass a competent assessment examination. This new competence assessment test is conducted in two parts. One is online theoretical examination, and another one is clinical competence assessment. Let us see in detail about online theoretical examination. First, after applying for the registration, the candidate will receive an email invitation to enroll for the IQN online theoretical exam. You will have 6 months of time from the date of the invitation received to complete the exam successfully. Online theoretical examination is conducted by Pearson VUE test centres all over the world. Online theoretical examination is a computer-based examination. All questions in the examinations are multi-choice questions with one correct answer. Total 120 MCQs, total 180 minutes to complete the examination. Online theoretical examination is split into two parts. In part A, questions are about medication safety, and it contains 12 questions, and the time duration given for this part A is 30 minutes. In part B, questions are about nursing knowledge, and it contains 108 questions, and the time duration given for this part B is 135 minutes. Now we will see the attempts we mean resits for online theoretical examination. Candidate has to pass both part A and B in first attempt to move to next level. If the candidate fails in either one part of the examination, candidate has to resit that is, rewrite, for that particular part in which the candidate failed. For example, if the candidate fails only in Part B, he or she can resit only for Part B exam to move to next level. Now we will explain you about the next part of the competence assessment examination. Next test is clinical competence assessment. This is a 2-day orientation and preparation course followed on a separate day by a 3-hour clinical examination known as an objective structured clinical examination. The orientation and preparation course and the OSCE take place in person at a Nursing Council approved simulation and assessment centre in Christchurch, New Zealand. The OSCE assesses the candidate's applied nursing knowledge, communication, and safe clinical practice at the level of a New Zealand registered nurse. You must complete 10 OSCE scenarios conducted in clinical stations in a 20 minutes. 12 minutes are allocated per station, with 2 minutes for reading the instructions, 8 minutes to complete each scenario, and 2 minutes for movement between stations. If you do not pass the OSCE, you can resit the exam 2 more times. The orientation and preparation course and the OSCE are delivered by the NurseMod Simulation and Assessment Centre in Christchurch. For entire online theoretical exam, that is for both Part A and Part B, the fees is 140 New Zealand dollar. To resit entire online theoretical examination, that is for both Part A and Part B, the fee is 140 New Zealand dollar. To resit only Part A, that is medication safety, the fees is 32 New Zealand dollar. To resit only Part B, that is nursing knowledge, the fee is 108 New Zealand dollar. For first level orientation and preparation course, the fees is 500 New Zealand dollars. For OCE clinical examination, the fees is 3,000 New Zealand dollars. To resit OC, the fees is 3,000 New Zealand dollars. The syllabus for Part A, that is medication safety module. The questions are mostly based on medication fluid safety, medicine calculations topics. The syllabus for Part B, that is nursing examination. The questions are mostly based on ethical safety, culturally safe care, supervision, safe environment, practice, assessment, prioritizing, decision-making, planning, delivery and evaluation, infection control, medication safety, vaccination, long-term condition, deteriorating patient, consumer rights, advocacy, patient education, health promotion, therapeutic relationship, team relationship, record management, information exchange. Questions are based on these topics, but it's not limited only to this. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to visit us on our website at nursessuccess.com. Welcome to our channel.
In this a long one. So yeah, that's the new qualification, isn't it?
Exactly. That's a new, guidelines, the new pathway. So it's really too easy. It's just that you need to take a lot of preparation when it comes to OSCE, because we know we've been seeing a lot of nurses who don't put their attention, who don't put their dedication to be able to pass this OSCE, fails 100%. So you need to put your time and effort when doing those OSCE. And if in case you need help and you want further information, just send a message to Nurses Success Academy. And we in theoretical we have actually free pre-assessment examination. This is to test your readiness to take the online theoretical. So if in case you need more help, we got a lot of materials there for you to review. It's unlimited, so you can access there, go around, and we have in our website. You can you can search the website and see what are the materials that can help you. Anyway, everything there are ready for you guys. And when it comes to OSCE, we can provide you face to face, and we got a lot of services. We're actually on promo, so we are on good price this time. It's ours a little gift during Christmas season. So there you go. That's my presentation. I just want to share to you the story when we started here in New Zealand. So during those time, 2013, we arrived here, me and my family, under work visa, and we have to apply our work visa yearly. And in 2018, it was a serious blow for me and my family, because my family was under me. I'm the principal applicant, so that's when the time I transferred my employment uh in other company. And the immigration requires a lot of documents, especially the ANSCO. It has much that time. It was really hard. It was really difficult time when immigration was really tough and strict at the time, and we got caught. So we lost our visa, and we could not find any means. We're about we've approached lawyer who don't specialize in immigration side, advisor. But for me, when a friend had advised me to get a lawyer. So we took the chance and took the advice, and we got a special immigration lawyer to help us when we lost our visa. It was 1 year with no visa, and our savings were running low, and I felt like if didn't this does not if this is not for me, then definitely it's not for me. And God sent someone, an angel, who help us, because this angel who they specialize in complex cases when it regards to immigration. um Now I would like to introduce to you attorney Elsa Nerida, Elsa
Lisa, just I
Abela.
just want to add this, guys. Okay, just to give clarity to people. So Lisa came here on a work visa. That is, what's your pathway again, Lisa? What's your pathway? Because people might get confused because this is not the registered nurse pathway. Just want to really
Yes,
clarify that. But again, I know we have attendees here who I think went on the same pathway how Lisa came here, but she's still here.
yes.
Even in because again, just a bit of backstory. That's why we're very active in our community, because there are immigration consultants overseas who are just leading people in the wrong direction, just to make more
Yes.
money. Sadly, student visas that you don't really need. Um, I think, Lisa, what was your pathway, Lisa? Just to give a bit of
It
background of your story, because I want to clarify it. Um,
we came here from my husband's application as a student. So I'm on open work visa. So after getting an employment, my visa was changed to work visas. So they are we in the visa was I become the applicant, principal applicant. So they were under me. Before, I was under my husband's application as a student. I'm the open work visa. So now in yearly, we have to apply for work visa yearly for how many years, and from 2013 then to 2017, until to the time I was like thinking to change, because I'm a career force assessor. I'm too confident to transfer, I thought. That's what I thought. Then later on, there is the immigration under
Changes.
this Yeah. And the immigration was really strict and tough, and it gave us really a hard time until to the point I felt I was really depressed because I was threatened to go home already, you know.
Scary,
I
scary,
was
but
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like starting to sell our stuff slowly, and we got this friend, and they said, no, you're already here, you have to stay, and you have to fight for this thing. Though we tried our best, even if you lost your visa, as long your application is, you know, you're trying to correct it, you're trying
Involved.
to gain, you know, to legalize here, and it doesn't matter. And um we started with the lawyer, but he doesn't specialize in immigration. He just thought because we thought he's a lawyer. So I was really wrong. There is a certain, you know, not connotation in me because he's a lawyer, he could help us. Unfortunately, he didn't. Then I went to see an immigration advisor, and yet again the immigration didn't do, because this is really a special case to the point we were on section 61. Then we're section 61 twice. Then until to the point someone introduced to me to attorney Elsel, and attorney Elsel was the one who took my application. And she discussed to me the options and the chances we have. So there are requirements that you have to complete in order for the success of the immigration, the approval of my visa. So after that, after we met everything, I got 1 year visa. This is to correct everything, you know,
And now
to
you
have
are a
a,
resident.
and now I'm a permanent resident with the help
Wow.
of attorney Elsa Nerissa, because their company and these people behind, especially attorney, are expert in complex cases. They know the strategies. If you're having problems with your health, like you need to submit accordingly. From don't listen to friends, if they say tell to you to be honest, to send everything, please, when it comes to health, you have to consult the immigration lawyer, because when my friend did that, he submitted everything, where in fact it's not necessary, not unless being asked. So, okay, don't do that. Get immigration expert advice, okay, so that you have a chance to, you know, to get approval. Well, don't start the process by your own self. Get an immigration expert advice. This is from lawyer already. If you're having problem already, if you're having this already the cases, don't get immigration advice. Get a lawyer who specialize
Yeah.
in this area.
So
So
yes,
that's
thank you, Lisa,
sorry.
for that. I get emotional for that, and that's why we're here, guys. That's why
Exactly.
we do what we do, because we know it's not easy, and you can
That
go
is
through a lot of challenges, but if you don't give up, there's always a way. So we want to call on our next speaker today, who will really talk about the visa. There's a lot of options out there. Immigration is again a complex process, but you know, again, some people do DIY. We're not pushing you to just gets a lawyer or immigration. There are simple cases, there are more complex, depending on how competent and confident are you to read the website, because it's open and available anyway. But today, I want to call our nurse speaker, and she's going to talk about different options for nurses to come here and some changes that might come, I think, later next year. So let's call on attorney Elsa Narita, and we want to thank her for her valuable time for being here today with us. Thank you. All right.
yes. By
Yeah.
the way, Attorney Elser is the director of Advent Art. So we don't just give you, you know, just a lawyer. We give you the best lawyer there is, you know.
And very
So
beautiful
there you go.
too.
And beautiful too. So there you go. Back to you, attorney.
Sorry, listen. We'll answer all your questions at the end of the webinar. Okay, guys. So,
Yes.
all right. All right. We'll remove ourselves from being spotlight. Attorney, are you ready to share? You're muted. Um, and then you want to share your screen, isn't it?
All
Hello,
right.
attorney.
Thank you, Ma'am Lizel and Ma'am Kristen. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm just
Oh,
wondering whether everyone can hear me.
Yes,
Yes,
if
we
you can you just
definitely.
say yes if you can hear her in the chat box.
All
Um,
right. So I would like to start with a sharing of my personal experience. So on the 7th of February last year, I was not preparing for a typical work day, but I was on my way to Auckland City Hospital in New Zealand. And it was for a surgery that was delayed for months because of COVID. Now, to be honest, I was nervous at that time and I was worried because of possible complications. And I even thought about not making it through. Thankfully, everything went well. And after a week of recovery, I was back on my feet and I was back to work. But life has its surprises. Fast forward to April this year, I found myself facing yet another challenging situation. During my pregnancy with our first child, I was diagnosed with a very serious condition called preeclampsia. So, what was supposed to be a routinary checkup with a midwife turned to be an unexpected stay in hospital. Firstly, I thought I would be discharged after day two, but I didn't realize I ended up staying there for a month. Now, thankfully, our baby has arrived safely, and after some time, both of us were discharged. Those moments for me were quite humbling. It's quite difficult to describe how vulnerable you feel when your health and life is entirely in someone else's care. It's fortunate that I had my family and friends to support me. But you know what? What really stayed with me the most was the care that I received from all the nurses and midwives during my entire month of stay in hospital. And there was one particular moment that I would never forget. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and a nurse came to me, checking my blood pressure and giving me some medication, as per usual. But to my surprise, it was the same nurse who was with me the afternoon prior, the day prior. And of course, I couldn't help but wonder and ask, how do you do it? How do you manage to carry on with such positivity despite such longer shifts? And you know what? I received a response with a smile on her face saying, because I love my job. She uttered those words with so much sincerity and conviction that really, truly, deeply hit me. You know, to be able to love what you do and be dedicated in your work, to me, that is quite inspiring. So, I've been specializing in immigration as an immigration lawyer in New Zealand for more than 10 years. What my team and I do is help people secure visas, and we help migrants navigate the process of moving to a new country. But a big part of what we do is providing arguments and advocating for applicants. One Immigration New Zealand would raise concerns in relation to visa applications, appeals, reconsiderations, complaints. And one of the arguments that we make is the crucial importance of skilled workers in New Zealand, especially in certain sectors such as healthcare. And you know what? That argument really did not hit me personally and real until my hospital experience. And that's why I'm excited to be here with you today. So, if you are a practicing nurse, for sure you know the value you bring and the lives of the people you work with and you work for. And New Zealand needs you. Now, let me share with you some quick facts. Okay. Now, there's about 250,000 people working in the healthcare workforce in New Zealand, and 90,000 of them work in Health New Zealand or district health boards or government hospitals. And 160,000 of them would be working in different healthcare settings. Now, you might have heard that after the reopening of the borders and because of the budget cuts by the government in New Zealand, these had led to some oversupply in nurses. But you know what? The truth is, the healthcare sector in New Zealand is currently still under an immense pressure. In fact, I believe about 26% of nursing shifts across 540 public health wards are still operating below the safe staffing levels. Now, as you can see here from the little graph, this year, from the recent report for the year 2023 and 2024, New Zealand still is currently short of 4,800 nurses, 1,700 doctors, more than 1,000 midwives, and 170 pharmacists. And looking ahead of 2032, those numbers are set to grow to 8,000 nurses, 3,400 doctors, and the same with midwives and pharmacists, less than 1,000. I guess what we're trying to emphasize here is there's really a gap, a big one, between the workforce that New Zealand currently has and New Zealand needs. And therefore, in recognizing this crisis, the government has taken such a bold step in bridging this gap. And one of the most significant policy changes that they have made is to put registered nurses in the straight to residence green list pathway. And that was made in December 2022. Before this policy change, registered nurses had to work for at least 2 years before they can be eligible to apply for residence. And therefore, if you are considering New Zealand as the next chapter in your career, whether it's for career advancement, for greater work-life balance, or for better future for your family, then I hope this presentation, you will find this useful and you can get information and inspiration that you need to take that next step. Okay, let's move on. I propose we should start with deep diving on the straight to residence in New Zealand. So it was introduced in September 2022. It was part of New Zealand's efforts to attract skilled workers, especially in hard to fill occupations. As part of the 3 main skilled pathways to residence alongside the skilled migrant category and work to residence pathways. Now, why is it called green list? So think of it as a priority list of occupations that are considered high value and critical in New Zealand that is therefore serving this fast track route or pathway. Now, what does it mean for you if you obtain a straight to residence visa? It means that you will get the right to work, to live, to study in New Zealand indefinitely. With travel conditions, you are free to enter and leave New Zealand whenever, however. And also, if you have a spouse, a partner, and you have children aged 24 years of age meeting certain eligibility requirements, you can include them in your application as well. So this category is not just for you, it's for your family as well. The key point here, the question is, how do you qualify? Now, I personally believe that eligibility is at the very heart of the process. It's quite important that you know the requirements up front before you spend significant resources in terms of your time, your energy, finances that could have been, used for something else. And before making such a huge investment and making life-changing decisions for your job and for your family. Now, at our law firm, I lead a team of immigration lawyers and specialists, and one of our main goals is to help and equip applicants to prepare applications thoroughly. Now, here's the thing. This is not just a ticking off the list for the eligibility criteria. before you lodge and when you lodge an application, what you would like to ensure is you are lodging an application that is maximizing every possible chance of securing an approval. And therefore, for the straight to residence visa, here are the key requirements. You need to first have an acceptable job from an accredited employer. You can find a list of accredited employers with Immigration New Zealand on their website. You also need to have that job listed on tier 1 of the green list. Now, registered nurses are roles on tier 1 of the green list. Apart from that, you also need to meet the green list requirements. Now, for nurses, it's quite straightforward. All you need to have would be registration with the New Zealand Nursing Council. Now, the other general requirements would be you need to be at least 55 years old or below. And you also need to pass the acceptable test requirement. If you're registered, definitely you'll pass. And there are health and character requirements as well. Now, there are certain situations where you might not be eligible or qualified to be registered in New Zealand. Maybe you lack the required hours, or for some reason, there's a delay in your registration. There are still other pathways to obtain residence. One is work to residence for people working in the healthcare sector, not just for registered nurses. Let's have a look at the list of occupations that can be eligible for a work to residence pathway. So you can be an aged carer, caregiver, disabled carer, a residential health care assistant, a virginal therapist, nursing support worker, personal care assistant, etc. So it is quite a good list. Now, apart from that, your job needs to be full-time and your pay needs to be at least what they call level 4. It's under New Zealand Support Workers Pay Equity Settlement Act. So currently the level 4 pay rate is at least $28.25 per hour. So you need to be in this role, meeting all these requirements for at least 2 years before you're able to apply for residence. And of course, another category will be what they call skilled migrant category. Because to be able to apply for residence under the skilled migrant category, you don't necessarily have to be to be registered. All you need is a skilled job. Now, it doesn't have to be in healthcare. If you had a prior degree in admin and you used to work as an office manager, you can also apply under this category. Now, how this category works is you claim for what they call expression of interest points. So they need at least 6 points, and they come from different sources, either registration, the level of your qualification. It doesn't have to be New Zealand. If you have an overseas qualification, it only needs to be recognized through an assessment, or your income, and then years of experience in New Zealand. So these are other pathways as well. But you know what? When you make that decision to move to New Zealand and you get to communicate with an employer, it doesn't mean, it's not all the time that you can apply for a residence straight away, because there's a bit of a processing time for residence applications. Currently, residence applications are being processed for 4 months, and employers can sometimes be wanting you to start earlier than 4 months. And therefore, whilst your residence is in process, or whilst you are preparing to apply for residence, you may apply for a temporary, what they call a temporary visa. Temporary visa means a type of visa that enables you to do something for a limited period of time. So the most popular one to allow you to work is what they call an accredited employer work visa. So for this category, you need a job offer. You don't necessarily have to start working. your employer needs to have what they call a job token or a job check. That is after proving to Immigration New Zealand that they meet the labor market test or that they're unable to recruit or hire suitable New Zealand resident visa holders or citizens. And you need to prove that whatever the employer advertised the recruitment criteria are, you meet, and that you need to have at least 3 years of relevant work experience. Next year in March, they intend to make the change of reducing this minimum experience from 3 years to 2 years. And there's an English requirement for certain lower level roles, and of course, health and character. Now, for many of you who are in the process of getting registered and qualified for registration in New Zealand and needing to come to New Zealand for that purpose, one category would be what they call an occupational registration visitor visa. So it's a visa to enable you to complete this registration process with a nursing council. That's what was discussed by Mom Liesel and Mom Christine. Now, for this, you just need proof from the nursing council that you're eligible to pursue this path for registration. Now, for those who are still covered by the current or previous competency assessment program or CAP, I believe I've heard from Mom Liesel and Mom Kristen that they will be closing this category sometime next year. You need any like proof of payment for any course or exam as maybe, and proof of sufficient funds. All right, so because almost all of the applications now for New Zealand visas are made online, then you just need to create your own account and then choose the right category and right purpose. And here's an example of a screenshot of the online application page. There's a limited certain group of people in the previous competency assessment program that may be holding an offer, receiving an offer from district health boards. I believe nowadays is quite difficult, but just so you know that this category is also open for those who are internationally qualified nurses with a job offer from health boards, district health boards, and accepted for CAP and can prove sufficient funds. All right. So as what I mentioned, when we move to a country, we just don't come here by ourselves. We also have family considerations. So in all these categories, your family members can apply for their visas as well. So it really depends on what they need. For example, if you're a partner, you can apply for an open work visa. Open work visa allows you to undertake any lawful occupation in New Zealand. If you have children up to age 19 years, they can apply for a student visa and they can be considered as domestic students, meaning they won't be charged fees apart from course-related costs. And for very young children not yet in school age, they can apply for a visitor visa. All right. Now, when you apply for residence, this says a registered nurse or any other healthcare role or skilled role for that matter, your partners or spouse, or if you're in a civil union, would have to meet the key requirement of proof of living together in a genuine and stable relationship for at least 12 months at the time of the application. And your children would need to be dependent. Immigration New Zealand defines dependent children as single without children. And if they are of age 19 years to 24, they would also have to prove that they are reliant on you or your partner or spouse for financial support. And of course, the general requirements. All right, perhaps from our experience, we just would like to share some practical tips when you are considering New Zealand and considering to apply for a New Zealand visa. Firstly, we would like to encourage everyone to understand the best visa pathway for you that aligns to your current circumstances. I guess at the end of the day, what we would like to pursue would be what is the fastest and safest option for you and your family. Secondly, if you are not eligible for registration now or EVA, you may consider other residence pathways. As what I've covered earlier, there are other pathways such as the skilled migrant category and work to residence pathway. What we also would like to encourage is if you're not eligible for a straight to residence visa yet, you want to ensure that you position yourself strategically. You would like to maximize every period of time that you are in New Zealand. It means that you need to ensure that whatever you're doing, whatever job you are pursuing, is either making you eligible for a resident visa or you can use as a stepping stone to be eligible for a resident visa. Because we see a lot of migrants staying here, waiting for their employers to contact them and support them without really knowing whether their current pay is making them eligible, let's say, to claim for work experience. Now, we also would like to communicate the importance of preparing the essentials. Understand the minimum work hours required. What are the pay requirements? What documents are needed? And you want to ensure that you, your employer, and your family members are well prepared. And when it's time for you to submit an application, what you would like to aim is to submit a decision ready application. So that is once you're clear about what to submit, when to submit, how long you have to submit, etc. Include all the required documents. So I say required, not all, because sometimes providing too many documents that are not required may mean that you might be providing self-incriminating prejudicial information and it can make it quite complicated for a case officer to process your application and therefore may cause a delay and worse, a concern that may lead to a decline. Now, do not just submit your application in a rush and then you are just sitting there and waiting for months for your application to be allocated to a case officer and then later on to be contacted for further information. So you want to ensure that when you have such time to plan your move, you plan for the documents and for the criteria when you're ready to launch. Now, we also don't focus on documents. You also try to anticipate the potential hurdles that you might encounter. Do you, or let's say, any family member have a medical condition that might cause a concern or risk in terms of meeting the health requirement? Are there any possible character issues? Are you able to get, let's say, if you are from Bahrain or Kuwait, get your police clearance certificate on time? Again, we would like to encourage you to prioritize approval over speed with the amount that you need to pay for a resident visa application. I believe currently is more than 6,000 New Zealand dollars. You want to ensure that your application will be approved. And of course, it's natural to want quick results, but accuracy and approval are way more important than speed. It's also quite important to stay on a valid visa. As what I've mentioned, most residence applications are being processed for 4 months. And if you choose to already stay here, you want to ensure that your temporary visa does not expire. Because if your temporary visa expires and you don't get a decision yet on your residence, the processing of your residence will be suspended. You won't be able to do anything. You're required to leave the country. You may be liable for deportation, and you will be having difficulties coming back to New Zealand when applying for a visa. Now, before making that move, plan meticulously. You can account for processing times for the specific visa category that you're applying for, not only for you, but for your children, your spouse, the application fees, the associated costs, the documentary requirements, and you need to understand the visa conditions that you will receive. What can you do with the type of visa that you will receive? And you should have a plan B in case of any delays. Now, if it can be too overwhelming because of information overload and Immigration New Zealand changing policies here and there, and there's something that you are not clear about, and when you're in doubt, you should seek professional advice. In New Zealand, the only qualified people to provide advice to protect consumers of immigration services are either immigration lawyers or licensed immigration advisors. Now, with the current economic setting, we understand that it can be challenging to pay for such services. But for me personally, I really cannot advise someone to either get a lawyer or not get a lawyer, because at the end of the day, it's really depending on your personal circumstances. If you're quite confident and the source of your stress will be the cost, then you can do it yourself as long as you know what you're doing and you're clear about everything. But if there's anything that you're unclear about, and if you're making such a huge investment and some life-changing decisions, it wouldn't hurt to book at least one consultation meeting to ensure that your questions get addressed and you get that clear pathway of exactly what you need to do, how you need to spend your time, what you need to prioritize, and have that peace of mind. Drawing to our conclusion, as you can probably tell with my accent and the way I look, I'm not originally from New Zealand. So my family and I moved here back in 2006, and we obtained a residence through the skilled migrant category. And I describe myself as a Filipino by birth and New Zealander by choice. You know, we all have different reasons for considering or deciding to move. It might be for a better future for a family, or moving to a much more safer environment, or just purely career advancement. But, you know, no matter what the reason for us and deciding to go out of our comfort zone to move to a new country, we as migrants carry that burden to make everything work. You know, the pressure to be successful, to ensure that our family members are safe, that's real. But, you know, when we are working overseas, I see some attendants here from Dubai and other countries. We rise to the occasion, we rise to the challenge. And I guess what the message that I'm trying to convey here is healthcare practitioners exemplify, in my observation and opinion, resilience, competence, and compassion. And you bring not just your skills, but your dedication to improve lives. My message is nursing and the skilled job that you choose to pursue as the source of your living, it's a noble profession. And wherever, you know, your journey takes you, whether in New Zealand or the other parts of the world, I hope that you can continue to make a difference in the lives that you touch. And with that, thank you for your time and looking forward to the Q&A shortly. Over to you, Mom Lizelle and Mom Christine.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for that. That's if you can want to
Thank you.
screenshot attorney's attorney's calling card here in the screen.
Just kindly screenshot or take a photo if you need her expertise. If you're having problems with your immigration, please, I suggest take Advent R, Attorney Elsol's, you know, services. They are the best. You know, they are the best. What I mean is, based on my experience, don't look any further, because I've been there, done that. Why I'm sharing to you, because I could not see the passion of her helping people with my same situation, and and she is compassionate and understanding in regards to, my financial situation at the time. It was an unforgettable experience with attorney Elsel at the time. Whenever I have problems I run, I can always talk to her anytime, just to alleviate the anxieties in the depression that I'm experiencing at the time. So it's really different. Without any help, you won't be able to succeed at the time.
Thank you, Ma'am Lizelle, and I hope everyone found the presentation useful. Cheers.
Yes, thank you so much. So yeah, we'll just go on Q&A now. So this is actually, yes, a long webinar, a long process, because yes, you are planning for your career and your next adventure, your next, I love the adventure, but really it's about settling in one of the most beautiful country in the world. And that's why we're here doing all of this, because we know how good New Zealand is, but to get here, it's not easy. So otherwise, everybody's here, right? So let's just go through the questions here. If you have any questions, I'll just go through it. Okay. This is from Rose. I'm a registered nurse in the Philippines, but I don't have 1,800 work hours experience as a nurse. If I work as HEA or support worker here in New Zealand, can I use that time working as HEA to fill up the 1,800 hours required by CGNF FNS? Lisa.
So for my understanding, they won't allow you to proceed to the nursing, not unless you study 3 years here. You have to study nursing here if you don't have experience. It's going to be a waste of time applying, even if you have hundreds of pages support letter from your employer, if you don't have the 1,800 minimum experience requirement, it's, you won't, it's not really possible. You have
So
to have at least, 1,800 hours experience, or 1 year.
10 year within 10 years.
Yeah.
And then
So
yeah, the
what
option
I
of
can suggest,
people
go
are
back.
choosing.
Yeah, just for 1 year. Spend 1 year in the Philippines instead of studying 3 years. Go back and experience at least 1 year. Volunteer if necessary. That is considered, because you practice post, as long as you're a post registered nurse and you volunteer, as long as those are, they recognize, that you are a registered nurse in that facility you are volunteering.
Yes. All right. So I think some people who are already in New Zealand opting to study nursing, and yeah, you have to check with the school that you're gonna enroll. What will they recognize? So if you're already a resident, I think it will be a way cheaper as well, like compared to if you're paying as an international student. So let's just say, how about if you pass NCLEX, is it valid in New Zealand?
NCLEX, is it NCLEX in the US? Actually, good news. If that NCLEX is within 3 years, you can actually transfer your account. But first, you have to create CGFNS New Zealand account. Only then you can transfer your NCLEX to CGFNS New Zealand. It's still valid. Yeah.
But you still have to take IQN and OSCE.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
mean,
it's
theoretical
like you
exam.
have to you have to complete the requirements. You have to meet your documents will be transferred meeting the requirements of New Zealand. You still have to undergo OSCE or theoretical, so it's still under the decision of the nursing council.
Mm. But because with American nurses, what's their pathway here? I'm not 100% sure.
For
Mm.
our American nurses, actually, their English has been waived.
Yeah.
They can process CGFNS. Still they have to process CGFNS. No one excuse to go straight. Even UK nurses has to complete the requirements to become a new registered nurses here in New Zealand. It's just that they have, their English requirements is being waived, and you can proceed, your requirements, your pathway, your road to be an NZRN.
So Darrell is asking, so Carrie said, thank you for this productive and very encouraging information. That's good. Hardeep wanted to know more about OSCE, which we haven't actually recorded our OSCE, but we will have another one on the 4th of January for our OSCE.
There's one question. Are school nurse and dialysis nurse qualified? Hang on, is this recorded, sis?
Yes, it is recorded. I'm just
Are
sorry,
the
I'm
school
gonna
nurse?
go through the one by one questions, okay?
I have my
Daryl,
private. Yes, I have a private question. Hang on, sorry. From Jetro, this coming from Jetro Ramos. Are school nurse, are dialysis nurse qualified as clinical experience? Yes, Jetro. Yes,
definitely, yeah.
definitely. School nurse, yes.
How
I
about this
have,
one?
yeah.
So do you have any partner recommended nursing agency which can help Filipino nurse? What are the initial steps to prepare? What is the recommended visa? So yeah, Lisa, we're actually assisting nurses to do the CGFNS if you're really starting from scratch. Lisa is already doing that with our vision, and we're offering the services again in Nurses Success Academy. So just reach out to us. We will send an email of the services that we provide for our nurses,
So
Darrell.
if you're really busy, no one can do it for you. We can help you, on your, yeah, there are requirement. I mean, there are forms that you have to fill it up yourself, because you're the one who knows about yourself, your experience. We can help you with this, with the requirements until, meeting, getting to the OSCE
So I have
stage.
here question from Evelyn. In regards in general rules, I have son 18 years old who has diabetic type 1. Is it possible to affect just in case a residency application?
That's the expert advice
All
from
right.
attorney.
Yes, I believe that type 1 diabetes is requiring regular insulin injection. So the quick answer to that is it can potentially adversely impact your residence application, because for someone to be able to be granted residence, they must meet what they call acceptable standard of health. And one of New Zealand's requirements to meet acceptable standard of health is to prove that your condition is unlikely to impose significant costs on New Zealand's health system. So it's not on the list of conditions that would automatically fail you or your family member to the acceptable standard of health. But because of the ongoing treatment requirement, then there's a risk that it may be assessed as not meeting the standard of health. If a person does not meet that, then there's an option of arguing for a medical waiver, and certain factors are relevant, such as the degree of cost, etc. So to discuss in detail, you're welcome to book a meeting with us.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that is a very
Proceed.
specific situation, isn't it?
Next.
Just checking for my friends, he's HIV positive, undetectable. Is the healthcare for New Zealand still open to work for? Is open. Was that checking for my friend? He's HIV positive, undetectable.
I guess again, that depends on the current condition of the health condition of the person and the degree of treatment or medication required and the cost of that. Now, there's a slight difference of requirements between work visa and residence. For work visa, they can only consider the potential cost to be imposed for the intended period of stay. For residence, there's a certain cap. So at the end of the day, they need to bear in mind of the requirement of the likelihood to impose significant costs on New Zealand's health system. So you may want to have a chat with your friend in relation to the current medication that she's taking and the prognosis of her condition or his condition.
Because there are a lot of HIV positive who are totally fine as well. But yeah, this is quite tricky, so that needs more detailed requirements. Thank you for that, attorney.
Thank you.
Or and the second question of Marvin is healthcare of New Zealand still open to work or the country is restricted? So as what attorney just presented, it is open. It's just harder right now, but there is still big shortage, big gap, especially in the next coming year. So really it is open, it's just slower at the moment. People
Yeah.
are still getting jobs, but it's more competitive than compared to the last few years. All right. My CGFNS has been expired. I haven't submitted yet my IELTS result. I need to retake my IELTS. How long will the CGFNS expire after reactivation?
My suggestion is take the English exam. This is if you are reactivating your CGFNS, take the English exam. Once you have this in place, incomplete. That's the only time you activate your CGFNS. This is only the second time you can only activate your CG. So don't lose these chances. Activate it once you have already your IELTS exam for Kari Andalaho. So
You sure
that's the
it's one
answer.
year, right? 1 year for CG.
1 year for CG. And if that has been expired, you have to pay another 120 for 120 US dollars for reactivation.
And how
So
long does
normally,
again, and does it, is it another year?
yeah, another year. So
Like
only second time they can reactivate this.
for from AXA for OSCE exam in Christchurch, do we need to apply normal visitors visa or occupational registration visa? Visitors visa.
Yes, so for that purpose, you can apply for an occupational registration visa, visitor visa.
Yeah, so OSCE. Okay, I am a registered nurse in the Philippines and I'm studying diploma health and support level 7. Am I qualified to take CAP or CGNF or resident visa? You are already in New
What is
Zealand, right?
Yes, not unless you got do you have 1 year 1 year experience or 1,800 experience? If you do, start to process your CGFNS and start your English requirements. Not it's no longer capped, so you will be under the new regulation, the new guidelines of Nursing Council. So that's my answer.
Theoretical
So
exam.
In terms of
studying.
from an immigration standpoint, once you register, then you can, and provided that the pay has been met, you can apply for a straight to residence visa. Or if you don't get registered and you find other health roles that are eligible, then you can consider other pathways, such as the work to residence pathway.
Yeah, the one attorney discussed, if you look at that, there are ways now, which is very great, right? Because it was
There are
not
ways.
available in the past. So this is a really good pathway for in the healthcare industry. So yeah, I'm just another question for you, Franklin, if you're still here. Studying diploma of health, and what's your job at the moment? I think that would be helpful um to
So
say.
Jyoti have a question. How long will it take to complete the processing once you submit the nursing council? It depends, it varies. So the nursing council always changes the time frame. So the maximum the latest one is 7 months, because the reason why they have to control the flow of the applicants, of the nurses applying for to become an NZRN. So you got the answer. Thank you.
So yeah, 6, 7 months right now. It's way longer. But of course, again, you have to have your CGFNS verified yet before you can proceed to the nursing council.
Evelyn Pador, it means no exceptions for theoretical exam in OSCE if you are NCLEX passer. Still, you will go through the nursing Yes. It's not from us. It's a nursing council requirements. You have to undergo CGF, and this is to verify your qualifications. Even if you're NCLEX passer, or if you're as long as you practice, if you practice nurse in the US, you have this registration. Um, Yeah, you still have to undergo CGFNS. You
The
can
OSCE, the
transfer.
OSCE and theoretical, isn't it? They don't have
Yeah,
reciprocity.
yeah. Actually, what do you call this? If they practice if they are USRN, they have their, their registration is USRN. They have to process the nursing council, requirements. They have to undergo CGFNS. They can transfer their, their qualification. I mean, their documents with CGFNS New Zealand. Only the nursing council can send you a letter that your congratulations, you're a registered nurse. You don't need to undergo the LSK or theoretical. So you
Yeah,
just have to
yeah, that's
process it.
right.
Yeah.
So case to case basis, but generally because like when me, I have to work in US, I have to take the NCLEX. So I don't think there is a reciprocity at the moment. But to be honest, there are a lot of case to case basis where when you submit your documents to the nursing council and they this is really because I know like for nurses from Dubai who did that require CAP, I think they really look at your requirements thoroughly and then they will tell you what you need next stage. So but right now I don't think it's a straightforward you don't have to take um I theoretical exam in OSCE by having the USRN role, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so Franklin attorney has in New Zealand having part-time level 4 pay, HCA at the same time student.
Is that a
That's
question?
yeah, you know, I
Okay.
remember
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And the
for you to be
question
able
was
to apply for any type of visa, either work or residence, you need to secure a full-time job. So if you're being paid a level 4 P rate, then you are eligible to pursue the work to residence pathway. That is working for at least 2 years with that role if you're not yet registered, and then you can apply for a resident visa after 2 years.
that's a good one. So right now though he is I believe student visa because he's
I see if you're
studying
studying that,
diploma.
then yes. After completing your studies when you're eligible to work full-time.
So what is it now with when their entry is student visa and they're studying and working? Are they given another year to
I
find?
see. Yeah, it really depends on what you study. So if you let me just open please the requirements. I believe if you are studying a non-degree that is on the list of those eligible for post-study work visa, you can be eligible for post-study work visa for the duration of the period of study that you've undertaken in New Zealand.
For the duration of your like a student visa.
Otherwise, you would have to find a job.
Yes, so you already got a job, so hopefully they will absorb you, and then you get work visa, and then 2 years of full time, and then you get resident. So that's a good one. Daryl, do I need to have 2 years of experience before taking IQ and in OSCE? You need to have only 1 year. So 1800 hours, not 2 years anymore. So again, it changed already. Before it's 2 years within 5 years, but now it's 1 year within 10 years, regardless when it was. So it's so good. It's a very good change actually. Camille,
There are
can you read
since
Camille?
there are instances like um you are working only 9 months, but you have 1,800 experience, 10 months of work, but it depends on the contract. You have to justify that you have completed, if you're working with nine months experience, 10 months, less than a year, as long as it justify based on your
Yes.
contract that you're working in this certain hours, a total of 1,800 hours. So yes, you may proceed with applying to be an NZRN.
That's good. Okay, so Camille Co, I have an existing ORVV valid till next year, but I have to exit NZ due to 3 months stay per entry on the visa. Then I apply for a general visitor's visa, even if it's still
Yes,
valid
that's
in
a good
ORVV.
question. Now, you may apply technically for a general visitor visa as long as you can establish or prove that you have a genuine intention for a lawful purpose of a temporary stay in New Zealand and that you're unlikely to breach your conditions. For example, if you have an offer from an accredited employer to pursue a job or take an offer, but they're just waiting for their job check approval, then yes, you may apply for a general visitor visa for that purpose of waiting for that employer to get their job check approved. Or if you think you need more time to explore New Zealand, you can provide a reason why you want your stay in New Zealand to be extended on a visitor visa. But generally, obtaining a visitor visa for the purpose of finding a job is not considered by immigration as acceptable for extending your visitor visa.
That's a good one. Thank you for that. I hope that's clear. So yeah, it's pretty tricky, isn't it? To so Jyoti, I am on waiting list on the NZ Nursing Council. I have no idea where to get materials. That's what we do, Jyoti. In Nurses Success Academy, we have materials to prepare you for the theoretical exam. We have the rapid review. You can subscribe to our website, and we also have, as soon as you pass the theoretical exam, then you can prepare for the OSCE. And it's very, very critical, guys. OSCE is $3,000. Well, way cheaper than the CAP, because CAP before was around $10,000 to $12,000. But we want you to prepare for that well, because it's still a big cost. So yeah, I'm gonna share our nursessuccess.com. We have free and paid materials. We will be encouraging you to actually get a rapid review, because we just summarize everything, because again, it's so overwhelming right now. I'm really saying there are no lack of information in online right now. You can find so many, and those so many information, it can be so overwhelming, and sometimes you don't know where to start. Even same with immigration, you can watch so many blogs and and Google, there will be so many people sharing their experience, but it's actually not good for you. It will just overwhelm you, and sometimes you don't take action because you are overwhelmed with so many information. Okay. So yeah, please do just go to our website, and you can take some of our assessment exams, and yeah, there are free and paid one as well. So I am just gonna go to the next question. I hope that's helpful, Jyoti. From Mel, from AEWV, how long does it take to change it to resident visa?
Okay, again, of course, you need to account for how much experience or what job you need, how long it will take you to be eligible. So the answer to that depends on your current circumstances. As soon as you meet the criteria to apply for residence, you can apply straight away. Now, in terms of processing time, the current estimated processing time by Immigration New Zealand for residence application is currently 4 months.
4 months. So Jyoti, can we go for CAP course if there are any vacant seats?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. If she still have the cup letter, yeah, she can have. We can help you get the seat.
Yeah. So just contact Lisa if you have the
Yes,
CAP letter. If you
cup
apply,
letter.
yeah. So that's what was the date again, Lisa, that they applied? What was the date?
He did, ah, she did not. She did not write here. If she have, Jyoti, do you have your cup letter with you?
No, she's waiting list, apparently. Is
She's
that
waiting
right?
list for the cup. So it might change it to the new guidelines under the new guidelines. So just wait for the letter, Jyoti. Wait for the letter, that the nursing council will be sending
So
you.
you
So
have two
which one?
options now, right? If you really can't get a CAP seat, then go to the theoretical, because the theoretical in OSCE seems scary for a lot of people because it's an exam, but it's actually way cheaper, and it really will help you equip yourself to become a
Yes.
competent and confident nurse as well in New Zealand, because you will be studying more. Um,
Yes.
But yeah, do contact Liesel, reach out to Liesel if you might need a CAP seat if you have the letter. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I can
Evelyn,
get you a seat. I can get you a seat from our
partners.
partners in school partners, whatever.
Um,
So yeah.
from Evelyn, actually, I'm applying for level 7 diploma of healthcare. My joining date is June 2025 after completing my study. Can I use my PTE exam to register for CGFNS? The
So
PTE.
actually, I have inquired that. According to Nursing Council, they have not yet approved, but wait for the any update if it's still on, it's still being discussed on the table if they are going to accept it. It's because, there's a lot of issues, but just wait, maybe they will change their mind or they will accept because CGFNS have already accepted PTE. So we just don't know which country, this nursing councils are really choosing.
Yeah, okay. So CGNF has accepted PTE, but not yet
Strict, I mean,
confirmed by
strict.
Nursing Council.
They
Okay.
are strict.
But from AXA, what's the visa duration for occupational registration visitors visa?
So the
Oh,
duration for that visa category is 3 months. But if the registration process is taking more than 3 months, you are eligible to apply for an extension. Or if you are in the process of awaiting the outcome of your residence, you can also seek an extension for your visitor visa. But the initial duration will be 3 months.
3 months. So that's what you use for your OSCE. And just to give you a little bit of just a tip. I mean, this is not an advice. Again, it depends on your circumstances. Some nurses asking if they should resign to take the OSCE and wait here. Our suggestion is to not resign because right now it's a little bit risky. If you can take annual leave to take the OSCE, come here, maybe do a bit of a tour in New Zealand and take your OSCE because one, you're not sure if you're gonna pass, right? And number two is it can be quite expensive to wait here. So it's good at least you can still as soon as you get your registration, you can start applying overseas. You still have a job, you minimize your risk, especially if finance is an issue. But if you have unlimited supply of money, probably you can have your holiday here while waiting and extend, I guess, a few pass. Yeah. So just a question, Tornis. So if they have the occupational the visa, the ORVV, and then they pass the OSCE. So they have the 3 months to get a job offer, isn't it?
Technically, yes. As long as they have a valid visa here, then they're welcome to obtain a job.
Okay.
But they also need to account for the processing time for the resident visa or work visa. Because it means that if they apply for, let's say, a resident visa or work visa, before the expiry of their visitor visa, during the processing, they will be automatically granted an interim visa that's valid for 6 months. But while waiting for the outcome of the new visa application, they won't be able to work and take up the job. I believe next year, mid next year, the government is going to introduce some changes allowing interim visa holders to start working if they have a job offer. So let's watch this space.
Yeah. So again, guys, it's constantly changing, and that's why it's good to have someone professionally helping you because that's what they do every day. They keep themselves updated about immigration changes, and if you're just there visiting the website every now and then there might be changes that you will miss. So it's an investment. You can still do DIY. Let's be clear about it. But the question is how confident you are to do it, and is it really gonna increase your chance? So again, speed is not it shouldn't be the criteria about just what Attorney Elsa said. It should be your chances, increase your chances of approval of your visa that you're applying. So Catherine, how much should be on your bank account if you were applying for visa for OSCE purpose?
All right. So Immigration New Zealand's minimum threshold for the funds would be at least 1,000 New Zealand dollars per month of stay. So if that's for 3 years, that's 3,000 New Zealand dollars plus the cost of your return flight. You don't need to book a return flight. You just need to prove that you have money to buy for a return flight. If you have a sponsor or if your accommodation has been prepaid, then the minimum funds would be at least $400 per month.
400. So 1,000 per, which is 3 months, the ORVV, right? So around 100K in pesos, 3,035. Yeah. So
If
yeah,
you
if
have
you have
extra, why not put everything? Maybe the immigration will put, you will add the month to approve your visa.
yeah. So yeah, there you go. After taking IQN and OSCE, is it still needed to take the CAP? No, no more CAP. So OSCE, theoretical exam and OSCE replaced the CAP, which is a great news because it's way cheaper. And yeah, you just need to prepare and review, practice. So what we really recommend is practice, because OSCE, we've heard already a lot of feedback from nurses who failed. It's not that easy, especially if you're not prepared. And one big mistake a lot of people are doing are looking at OSCE preparation in YouTube with a UK OSCE. It's so different, and Australia as well. So we actually have an upcoming live session on January 19, no, 9. If you want to join our OSCE program with a very experienced lecturer who worked with internationally qualified nurses. She is our partner in Nurses Academy. She's been working with IQNs for like 10 years now. And we have a free webinar as well about OSCE preparation on the 4th of January. Check that out. Check our page. Okay. So Myrtle, oh, I think we'll give more 5 minutes. I'll have a look. It's not non-stop questions. Okay. How long will it take to obtain a resident visa? How long will it take?
Yes, I think we've answered that earlier. The processing time for a resident visa application is currently 4 months, but of course, it's a case by case basis. So if you have everything well prepared, it may come out earlier. But if there are certain complexities in your application, it may take longer.
So 4 months. So 4 months, I hope that's clear. Edel, I'm an RN in the Philippines, 4 years, rural health center up to the present, but I'm here in NZ under dependent visitors visa. Can I apply for occupational visit visa?
Okay, that's a good question. I will need to get back to you on that. Because I believe for a visitor visa, you need to come to New Zealand for the purpose of pursuing that. But I need to check and get back to you.
Yeah, okay, visitor's visa can I apply for? So do you mean you wanted to start your application for CG and OSCE? Is that what you mean? Are you or have you applied? Have you applied? Because if you're under visitor's visa, you can still start your processing, isn't it? It's when you have to take the exam. Is that correct, attorney?
Yes,
You
if
can
you
start
are on a
processing.
dependent visitor visa, as long as the qualification process is less than 3 months, you can still do that. You can still start a process.
All right. I think that's it. Thank you so much. It's a lot. Thank you so much, attorney, for your time. We really value your time, and for those who are here, we really hope
Attorney,
that you will pursue and do whatever it takes. Resources are just around. You just have to look for it. It can be hard, but there's always a way. Just like Lisa shared my journey, we really hope that it inspired you to move forward, especially for 2025. I believe, again, if you set a goal and your goal is very clear, any problems along the way will be easy. So, and yes, don't expect that there will be no problems, because that's the worst thing you can do to yourself, expecting that there's no problem. you, you are setting yourself up there. So yeah, if we can take a quick photo, that would be good to just say,
Someone is
"Okay,
asking
camera,
if do we have
just a quick
another Zoom
one."
meeting?
Yeah, just to
Follow us.
and again, if you want to if you want help from your CGFNS for your IQN review, we have something available for you, Nurse Success Academy. Please message our page. We will email you about our services. And if you want to reach out to the attorney Elsa, if you can just again show your if you haven't screenshot her um calling card yet, or Advent, just maybe attorney, can you share your page here
Again,
in
Oh, sure, sure,
our
sure.
group chat, so they can message you there as well if you want email, or if you have something that you want to really talk about specifically, um you can contact attorney here. So just check that out. And again, thank you so much. You have a Merry Christmas, and just be clear with your goals for 2025. Again, migration is not like a, oh, look for the faster one. No, please don't do that. Really just plan it properly. Put your funds together, your requirements, and we are here to support you. We from the application to passing your theoretical to your OSCE to finding a job. And of course, Liesel actually is already we are already working on, if there's a little bit of challenges with the job availability in New Zealand. We already have partnering with Australian employers as well, because when you
fingers
become an
crossed.
NZRN, you are also eligible to convert your registration to get your Australian license. Is another process, but it's not as complex, and it's way cheaper if you want to go directly to Australia. So that's what people are doing. So
Yes,
there
fingers
are
crossed.
options. There are options
Yes,
out.
we're working on it. Very, very hard for you. We understand the situation here in New Zealand. So let's think positive. We just needed to finish these documents. It is important that we have this black and white documents. Okay. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you so